Can I mention to you guys, with regards to this film I'm about to talk about, I have never seen the Broadway play. I haven't. So I know that is like a crime, especially amongst musical fans and theater kids and whatnot. I've never gotten a chance to see this. So I hope that you guys are happy with how this review turns out with regards to how I feel, because I'm just saying, never seen the Broadway play. Hope to maybe one day after this, but till then, this is all I got with regards to what everyone has been talking about with this play in particular and how much people love it. So here goes.
It's the wizard who should be afraid of me.
Wicked is directed by John M. Cho with a screenplay by Winnie Holzman and Dana Fox. The film stars Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, Jonathan Bailey, Ethan Slatter, Bowen, Marissa, Bode, Peter Dinklage, Michelle Yeoh, and Jeff Goldblum. According to IMDb's plot synopsis, Elphaba, a misunderstood young woman who, because of her green skin, and Glinda, a popular girl, become friends at Shiz University in the land of Oz. After an encounter with the wonderful Wizard of Oz, their friendship reaches a crossroads. Wicked, of course, takes place in the same fantastical world of Oz that was brought to life through L. Frank Baum's book that came out in like 1900s, and then of course was then adapted into the 1939 Technicolor film starring Judy Garland. And that film, of course, has a lot of historical context in the realm of film because of the fact that it was the first ever Technicolor movie to be brought to life, and to this day we still use it. But it was, of course, this movie that kickstarted that whole trend of having color in our films. However, this is not based off of the Wizard of Oz, just the land of it, or the world. This is really based off of the 1995 book by Gregory Maguire of the same name, and of course based off of the widely popular and Tony Award winning Broadway play that to this day people cannot get enough of. I know some people that really enjoy this musical and still reminisce about the songs. But aside from the 1939 film of The Wizard of Oz, I've never read the book nor seen the Broadway play, as I mentioned at the beginning of this review. So I'm going into this with no biasy, no sort of notion of, well, they did that wrong, or it's not like this. So I'm going in as just a casual or just newer person to this musical for the first time. So I'm just throwing that out there. And after seeing this, I really, really loved it. I know, it's crazy. I can understand now why people actually like this. It's surprising to me. There is only one issue with this film that hurts it from being a perfect score, in my opinion. I know a lot of Wicked fans might be pulled with maybe what I have to say, but before I get to that, let's just now break down the positives that I have with the movie. The performances are all excellent. Cynthia Erivo shines bright as Elphaba. She delivers a powerful performance that will get audiences to fall in love with her. And for as much as there was so much controversy and the dumb factors surrounding her casting, she proves all the naysayers wrong. She is so good in this movie that I was really much on her side throughout a good portion of this film. And I understood her reasonings for what she feels. As we all know about the Wicked Witch of the West, I understand that, of course, is the sign of just good versus evil. But the fact that I'm just kind of glad that this movie actually tells us her reasonings and her feelings towards how she was treated throughout most of her life. And I do think that there comes a bit of that undertone of racism in this movie. And I'm kind of glad that somebody like Cynthia Erivo jumped at the chance to play Elphaba and bring her to life and made me really care about her. And my God, her voice is is so amazing. I was moved by the way she sings, reflections, everything about her. I was starstruck by how much she was really giving such a very commanding performance. Ariana Grande is delightful as Glinda. She not only does well with the singing along with the review, because sometimes they'll do songs together, but she does a very good job with her acting as well. I haven't really seen much of Ariana Grande with regards to her acting. I know she is now mostly known as a singer and songwriter, so I don't know that much with regards to her acting, I guess, except for her earlier days on Nickelodeon. So this is my first time actually seeing her something in a while, and I actually think she really kills it. I actually was kind of going along with how she was playing this character, and as much as you could say that she's ditzy, for as much as she can kind of come off as that, she's not really dumb. She's just very naive. She just really feels like she is the center of attention. She really is trying to play up the image of she has to be the center of focus, but she's not like dumb to the point of she is like completely brain dead, nothing about her. No, she has this strive of wanting to do good, but again, of course, it is that nature of once you're the popular girl, you're kind of having this image that you have to stick by. And as the movie progresses, she starts to shed that away. Both Ariana and Grande are fantastic together and have great chemistry in the film, which I was very glad, because for this movie to have both of these actresses play characters that are supposed to be friends. And I'm kind of glad that they establish their connection pretty early on as not getting along, and for them to then finally become friends as the movie progresses, I thought was really nice. But just seeing these two actresses have great chemistry with each other, it really does shine throughout, and it does make you really fall in love with both of them when they are together. Although he plays how he is in real life, Jeff Goldblum is still charming as the Wizard of Oz. And what's funny is that, yes, Jeff Goldblum, you could say that he plays himself in pretty much a lot of things, but I think he gets away with it because of how charming and delightful he can be. But Goldblum also represents kind of what's kind of going on today, if you ask me. Pretty much playing a con man. I mean, that's what the Wizard of Oz is. He's a con man. He's just making people believe that he is this all-powerful, all-big wizard, but he's not. He's just a guy who's just meddling around with something, and he wants to stay as powerful as he can be, which works well with the charming persona that Goldblum is supposed to bring. Because as a con man, you have to charm people and pull them in and make you think that you're not only the big and powerful, but you're also somebody who's trying to get people to like you. And so that's what makes his charm factor work in the film, is because of how much this man really is just an all-around narcissist. He doesn't care. He's just doing it for the sake of just putting on a performance for a lot of people. I mean, that's why he has, of course, the mechanical face that he has in the film, because he's just playing it up. He's not really that all-powerful that we all know. The direction is amazing. Director John M. Cho delivers a whimsical and dazzling musical that will leave audiences stunned, bringing the land of Oz to life. He is crazy to me. On the last time I saw The Wizard of Oz was like decades ago, but that movie has, of course, an impact with regards to his production design. And I feel like John M. Cho and company, he brought to life what that Technicolor film kind of did, but amped it in a way where it is for the modern day. It really does feel lived in. It feels like it fits right into what Oz is supposed to be. And I think his direction, how everything plays out, is done very well. Character interactions as well as the musical sequences, which we'll get to in a bit. But I think he handles this with care and love and passion because of how much he has somewhat of a background with regards to doing musicals, or at the very least having some sort of experience with regards to putting together something of this caliber in something like In the Heights. And to see him still bring what that movie worked into this movie, but on a much bigger scale, I think is incredible. And I'm very proud to see John M. Cho really pull it off in the end. The music is stellar. Composers John Powell and Stephanie Schwartz does a spectacular job with the score, as well as adapting the songs from the musical to the big screen, making for a delightful time. I was really surprised on how much I was actually really liking the music. I didn't think I would, or at the very least I wouldn't be thinking that they were catchy or as interesting, but I was pulled in. I'm not gonna lie, I was very much pulled in with how the music was worked into the film, as well as the score that is presented to me, and I was very much delighted to see how much this movie had scores that were really catchy, like very catchy. The cinematography is gorgeous. Cinematographer Alice Brooks brings to life the land of Oz to today. She also does a great job at shooting the musical sequences, which is a good thing, because with those musical sequences, you have to make sure that you are following not only your characters, you're following also people who are in the shot. And performing, and to have it still feel like it is in a way like a Broadway play, but just for a movie is, I think, incredible to see her do. But just bringing the world of Oz to life through her cinematography, I think, is done very well, and I think will please a lot of fans of not just the Broadway play or the book, but just people who have been in love with The Wizard of Oz for a very long time. So I can only say for myself, I was dazzled by her cinematography work. The production is incredible. Seeing the amount of detailing that's on the screen is insane to me. The sets, props, and costumes, they are top notch. I was amazed on some of the costumes that Elphaba and Glinda were wearing, but also just feeling like it was tailor-made for something like the 1930s. It is very much following in the spirit of the Wizard of Oz movie, and it's great to see that love and passion that the production team had put into this, especially the sets and the props. Like, they built a train that's not used that much in the movie, but man, it looks incredible. The amount of detail that the production team put into this is insane to me, and I give them a round of applause because it does make you feel like it is bringing you back to an era that most of us were not born at the time, and to see that today, it makes you really appreciate and wonder how much The Wizard of Oz was a big deal in terms of its production design and its costumes, and it's just incredible to see that love and passion continue after over 80 years. The story is interesting, following Elphaba trying to fit in and proud of who she is I think, a very sweet and enduring to see. I was also surprised in how depth this film had gotten. There were moments that, besides it having social commentary about race, I was surprised on the social commentary on animal abuse, or take on the notion of just minorities in this day and age. But you also have the idea of a false leader in the form of Oz, and how much he is swindling people into believing in what he is telling them. I was surprised because I didn't think that was what the story was. I legit didn't. I thought it was just how Elphaba and Glinda met. That's it. I didn't think it was going to go in depth with something very political, if you will. If you look at it through the right landscape, it's surprising to me on how much it goes in depth with that, and I was taken aback, and I was actually surprised by it. The musical sequences are entertaining. Aside from the music, the choreography is exciting and bursting with energy. It keeps the film engaging. The dances, the sets that go along with it, how it's all framed, it all just works. But the choreography itself, you could tell how much all these actors put a lot of time and a lot of care and a lot of effort to making this feel like a big, grand Broadway film. And it's insane to me on how much the little details that they do throughout this movie with regards to some of the choreography, I thought was just incredible and very much showing the love and passion for this project. The visuals are well done. Seeing the creatures be brought to the big screen was pretty good overall. It blends nicely into the movie, which I didn't think would work, because maybe there's some green screen shots that could look a little off, but for the most part, visually it looks dazzling. It's incredible on how much detail that is put onto these creatures, and the feeling of them works well into that said movie. The editing is nice. The way it's put together feels like it was done right. This was done with so much care, and I keep on repeating that, but I do mean that. It is done with so much care because of how much people believed in this, and how the editing is woven into this movie, and how it is played along. I think very much enjoyed how it was just neatly put together. Everything is on track to being perfect, but there's something that's stopping it from being that said perfect movie for me, and I'm sorry, but I have to address it. So here is the only negative with this movie. The pacing and runtime is drawn out. Most of the film feels slow until it gets to the Emerald City, in which I do think that the film starts to pick up speed. With a runtime of 2 hours and 40 minutes, I don't think this needed to be 2.5 or near to 3 hours. I think they could have shaven off quite a bit of runtime, and I do mean that when I say it, as much as I was enjoying it, I will say that runtime, I was starting to feel it as the movie was going along. But again, once it got to the Emerald City part, I do think it does significantly pick back up, and it does reach to a pretty significant ending that I think works well and gets me kind of intrigued on where it will go next. But still, I do think that most of this movie's pacing and runtime does hurt it a bit for me, and I do wish it could have been a little bit done better with regards to how it flows. Though Wicked fans can either compare and contrast it from the Broadway play or the book, whatever it may be, I think they will, in the end, love this film. I think most people will not deny that. As for non-Wicked fans, this will get them into both the book and the play, probably. I don't know. It's up to people. If they love this movie, they'll probably do one or the other. But for myself, I can't wait to see what the second part of this film will be next year. And yes, there will be a second part because, yeah, it is split up into two parts. So this only covered the first half of the play, and then the next movie will cover the second half. So until then, I am giving Wicked a 9 out of 10. I didn't think I would like this movie, or at the very least, I thought I would enjoy it, but I was pleasantly surprised. I was blown away, and now I can understand why people like this and really enjoy it. I might even see the musical at one point, but for now, yeah, I'm glad I got a chance to see this in the theater, especially with a packed crowd. It was pretty packed when I saw this. Now I will be doing my review for Moana and then Moana 2, and then November could be done. So yes, look forward to those reviews and other movie TV show reviews coming soon.